stop thinking that tough love is the only way to raise a successful human being. Because what you call discipline might actually be a slow-motion wrecking ball hitting your child's self-esteem. Are you raising a leader? Or are you raising a world-class liar who's just terrified of your reaction? Today, we're diving deep into the psychology of the strict parent trap. You see, in high-pressure environments, whether you're in a high-rise in Chicago or a suburban home in Los Angeles, there's this prevailing myth. The myth that the tighter the grip, the safer the child. But research is showing us something heartbreakingly different. You think you're building character, but you might be building a wall between you and the person you love most. Statistics show that over 70% of parents believe they are just being firm, but nearly half of those households are actually crossing the line into hypercriticism. In countries with the highest levels of childhood happiness and later life success, like Denmark or Norway, they do the exact opposite. They focus on authoritative parenting rather than authoritarian parenting. And the results? Their children report 40% lower levels of anxiety and significantly higher academic drive. This isn't just about being nice. This is about the precise science of human development. Let's look at the warning signs you're ignoring. Let's talk about the scary problem. Did you know that 85% of children from overly strict households admit to lying to their parents daily? Not about big things, but about everything. They lie about what they ate for lunch, who they sat with, and what they're thinking. Why? Because the cost of honesty is too high. In places like New York City, where the tiger parent mentality is often worn as a badge of honor, therapists are seeing a massive spike in perfectionist burnout in kids as young as 10. These kids aren't achieving because they love to learn. They're achieving because they're terrified of the look. You know the one. That disappointed, cold stare that tells them their value is tied strictly to their performance. Think about this situation. Imagine your daughter, let's call her Maya, lives in a home where the rules are absolute. She accidentally spills juice on the white rug in your living room. A disciplined parent says, "Maya, we need to clean this up now, and remember, drinks stay in the kitchen. Let's grab the towels." But a strict parent? They say, "Are you kidding me? You are so clumsy. No screen time for a week. Why can't you just follow the rules?" The result? Maya doesn't learn about rug maintenance. She learns that making a mistake makes her a bad person. She learns that her environment is unsafe for accidents. Next time she breaks something, she'll hide the pieces under the sofa. She'll lie to your face. And you'll wonder where the trust issues came from. Or take a teenager in the suburbs of Phoenix. Let's call him Leo. Leo gets a B- on a math test. He's actually proud because he worked hard for it. But when he brings it home, you say, "A B-? Who got the A? Why weren't you studying on Friday?" Leo's brain instantly registers. My effort doesn't matter. Only the result matters. According to a 20-year study from the University of Virginia, kids like Leo are 60% more likely to develop chronic depression by age 25. When we choose control over connection, we create a double life syndrome. Your child becomes a chameleon. They are the perfect, obedient child in front of you, and a completely different, often reckless person the second they leave your sight. This isn't discipline. This is a hostage situation. Why is this so critical right now? Because we are in the golden window of brain development. Between the ages of 5 and 18, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making, is being wired. When you are too strict, you are essentially overwriting their internal GPS. You are teaching them to look to an outside authority for every single choice. This creates a biological belief that they are incapable. When you micromanage their schedule, their clothes, and their friendships, their brain never learns how to self-regulate. By the time they hit college in a place like Boston or Seattle, they are like a ship without a rudder. They either crash and burn because they don't know how to handle freedom, or they find a new, strict authority to follow, often in the form of a toxic relationship or a high-control, cult-like workplace. Think of it like a tightly wound spring. You can hold it down with all your might for years. But the second you let go, it doesn't just expand. It snaps. It flies across the room. It breaks things. That snap is what happens when a perfectly disciplined kid turns 18 and disappears. They stop calling. They stop visiting. And you're left wondering, after all I did for them, how could they be so ungrateful? The truth is, they aren't ungrateful. They're finally breathing. This impacts their career too. In the modern American workforce, we don't need order takers. We need innovators. But children of overly strict parents often struggle with imposter syndrome. They are afraid to suggest a new idea because they spent 18 years being told there is only one right way, your way. So, what is the exclusive solution? In top-performing developmental circles, they call it the ARC method. It stands for autonomy, relatedness, and competence. It was developed based on the self-determination theory by psychologists Edward Deci and Richard Ryan. The goal isn't to remove rules, it's to change the source of the rules. There are 3 core principles. First, rules must have a rational why. Because I said so is not a reason, it's a power move. Second, empathy must precede correction. You validate the feeling before you punish the action. Third, collaborative problem solving. You involve the child in the solution. Let's compare. A strict parent says, "You're grounded because you came home 10 minutes late." The child thinks, "My parents are unfair. I need to be sneakier next time." An authoritative parent using ARC says, "I was worried when you weren't home on time because we agreed on 10 o'clock for your safety. What happened, and how can we make sure it doesn't happen again?" The child thinks, "My parents care about my safety. I value their trust. I need to manage my time better." See the difference? The first one is about shame. The second one is about responsibility. Shame makes a child hide. Responsibility makes a child grow. This works because of a biological mechanism called internalization. When a child understands the why, the rule becomes part of their own identity. They don't stay away from drugs because mom will kill me. They stay away from drugs because I value my health and my future. That is the only kind of discipline that lasts when you aren't in the room. Let's look at the science. A massive study from the American Psychological Association followed 5,000 families over 15 years. They found that children of authoritarian, too strict, parents had a 35% higher rate of obesity and a 50% higher rate of substance abuse. Why? Because they use food or substances to cope with the emotional coldness of their home. Conversely, the authoritative group showed the highest levels of executive function. They were better at math, better at social navigation, and, get this, they actually liked their parents more as adults. Dr. Lawrence Steinberg, a leading expert on adolescence, says, "Parenting with warmth and firm, explained boundaries is the single most consistent predictor of successful adulthood." In a survey of 2,000 adults who grew up in high-control homes, 65% said they still struggle with making basic decisions, like what to wear or what to eat, without feeling a sense of impending trouble. One participant, a successful lawyer in Los Angeles named Sarah, said, "I have 3 degrees, but I still feel like a failure if I sleep past 7 a.m. because my dad used to call me lazy for it. I'm 40, and I'm still trying to earn his ghost's approval." Now, let's get into the 4-week transformation guide. If you've realized you're too strict, don't panic. You can pivot, but you need a new mindset. Your old belief was, "My job is to control my child's behavior." Your new belief is, "My job is to coach my child's heart." Week 1, the observation phase. Week 2, the why and the wish. Week 3, the validation shift. Week 4, the autonomy handoff. Integrate this into your daily routine. In the morning, instead of, "Hurry up, you're always slow," try, "We have 20 minutes until the bus. What's your plan to be ready?" At dinner, instead of, "Eat your broccoli or no dessert," try, "We're trying these greens today because they help your brain. How many bites do you think is fair?" Remember, the goal of parenting isn't to have a perfectly behaved 10-year-old. It's to have a healthy, confident, and connected 30-year-old who wants to call you on Sundays. You are moving from being a boss to being a consultant. A boss is only relevant as long as they sign the paycheck. A consultant is valued for their wisdom. If you found this helpful, Hit that subscribe button and share this with a parent who's struggling to find the balance. We're all learning. We're all growing. Let's build families based on trust, not fear. I'll see you in the next episode.